Happy Monday, folks. Welcome to Hockey Playoff Edition. I'm the guy Mike Medina. This is my partner, Jim Biringer. Jim, how was your weekend? How's it going?
It's good. Weekend was good. Can't complain. Weather was nice. A lot of good hockey games, a lot of overtime hockey games. Luckily, the players decided to keep it short this time.
Yep, all four games of this conference finals have gone overtime. But let's get started with yesterday's game. Dallas Stars, Vegas Golden Knights game 2. Dallas Stars almost had it. They almost had it. But then when the Vegas tied it up with less than 2 minutes to go, the crowd woke up. They went from being worried and they woke up. They went to overtime. They won it. Now they're going back to Dallas with a 2-0 lead. But this is a tough loss for Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas had this game in control. They were up 2-1. Jason Robertson gets the Biringer push like Alexander Barkov did in the Eastern Conference Final. He now has 2 goals in 2 games, and he's looking electric. The power play's looking good. Dallas's defense was playing really, really well up until like the last couple of minutes. I mean, they gave up some odd man rushes, but most of all, they kept that game boring. Even Mark Stone said after the game, he's like, third period was kind of boring, and he was right. The Stars just played great defense up until the final 2 minutes when it was a great pass by Jack Eichel to Jonathan Marchand, so the original Golden Knight. And then, as they always say, there's an opportunity missed at one end leads to a goal at the other end. I mean, look, the Dallas Stars are going to be kicking themselves. Wyatt Johnson had a chance to win it in overtime, and then they go the other way. And Chandler Stevenson gets the goal, and Vegas is up 2-0, and the place erupts.
Eagles are 2 wins away from going to the finals since 2018. But man, what an historic playoff year we're seeing. This is by far one of the best Stanley Cup playoffs I've ever seen in the 23 years that I've been watching hockey. This is by far impressive. So far impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. The fact that each of the conference finals, the first 2 games have gone to overtime tells you how close these teams are. As we said, the 4 overtime game was a marathon. They're very rare. And the fact that these guys are getting it done, even earlier in the playoffs when you saw Michael Amadio, who was one of the 3 Vegas Golden Knights players to score an overtime goal, he scored only 3 minutes into double overtime. So it's not like these games have been lasting. I think the fact that Florida and Carolina just have so many good players and they're evenly matched and they play a similar system, that's why it went the length it did. But, I mean, this playoffs have been crazy. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know how long the overtimes are going to last. And every game has just been so entertaining.
I can't help but to think that this Florida Panthers team, the position that they were back in March compared to now, it has been extraordinary. I just think back when Matthew Tkachuk's father basically criticized the team saying that they looked soft. And even outside of him, there were just people that were doubting this Florida Panthers team. And they turned it around, and look where they are. They're 2 wins away from going to the Cup Finals since 1986.
Yeah, Matthew Tkachuk's a big part of it. Obviously, he had the game winner in the 4 overtime marathon. Then he scores again on the power play in the game 2 in overtime. And the celebrations obviously open the door and let's get out of here. Busting 10, boys, as he said. But, no, he's a great player. This is the reason they went out and traded for him. I mean, look, the trade was highly criticized. And rightfully so. You're giving up a great player in Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar, but Bills, you don't know what his team needed. And let's not forget, let's throw Paul Maurice in there as well, because Paul Maurice had a rant in Toronto on the bench that turned this team around. And look, I will say this, Matthew Tkachuk last year for the Calgary Flames, he hurt the Calgary Flames because he tried to be too much of an agitator. Having Sam Bennett on his line allows Matthew Tkachuk to be Matthew Tkachuk. Yeah, he's going to be physical, but now his offensive ability comes to the forefront, not his agitation. And I think he got away from his game last year. This year, he's playing his game, playing with a former line mate, Sam Bennett from Calgary Flames. Calgary Flames fans are going to be like, what do we do? Like, how do we get rid of both of these guys? But Florida Panthers. Look, Sergei Bobrovsky, he is on fire right now. The saves he made in Game 2, in the second period with that blocker. Look, he's got feels of John Sebastian Jaguar from 2003. The way he's playing. I mean, to me right now, the two Conn Smythe favorites from the Florida Panthers are Bobrovsky and Tkachuk, and I don't think there's anybody else.